GM, GM. So Solana looks good. Trade of the day, Monday, 4th of March. But I'm not ready to focus on Solana. I hold a bit in my wallet. I'll trade it if there's setups. But if Solana's going to run to all-time highs, on this push, or if it's going to have a significant move, to 160, 180, 200 or whatever, it's going to have to go back to outperforming. And it's currently not outperforming against Bitcoin. It's actually in a lower high bounce, right? So it's in a downtrend. You have a high, you have a low, a lower high, a lower low, and a lower high. So it's in a downtrend against Bitcoin. Against ETH, same thing. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, currently. Now, if it follows these paths, and let's just take this path here, and where I have my alert set, if Sol ETH starts to break bullish structure again, if Sol BTC starts to break bullish structure again, like we see over here, that's when I'll start to get interested, where I have those alerts set. Again, Sol against dollars will do fine, but BTC is still super strong. You got Bitcoin dominance starting to rise up again. You got Bitcoin on the cusp of all-time highs. You got ETH BTC still getting crushed. This is very much the Bitcoin show. So my eyes are drawn to BTC, and that's where I'm focused on. And so let's look at a few trades that we could have on Bitcoin. I'm going to start off by saying, I talked about this in daily levels. The first area I want to automatically buy if it comes on a flush is wherever the 12 EMA is on the daily, right? That's a level that I have my alert set on that I want to buy. So you set your alert. Let me save this and refresh. Now you might not get this. Sorry, excuse your eardrums. You might not get this, but you set it anyway, as it's one level that you want to be looking at. So go into here, change price to Michael's EMA small, and I'll just leave it at that. If it hits that, to me, that's a really strong sign of a dip to buy if it flushes down to it for a run to all-time highs. If it doesn't hit that, you've got the all-time high above here. So all-time high up at around 69. Different on each exchange. It's everywhere between 68.9 and 69.2 is roughly the range of different all-time high price levels. Lower time frames then, you've got this daily consolidation. It's like an order block that's forming currently. If for anything dips back into there on the lower time frames, that can be one. And so we've pushed higher here. So every time you push to new highs, what happens? Push above the highs, people start to ape into longs. It might continue from here. It might just blast off, or it might flush back, push again, flush back, and then go for the all-time high. That's one way it can go. Multiple pushes. We might see a deeper dip. Again, we've got all of this consolidation below us, which would take us into that daily band. If there is a leverage flush over the next couple of weeks, week or two, looking at that 60K level, 58.3 is where there's an old pivot level that I have as well, which was the February. Well, it's not on this Bybit spot chart because it doesn't go back that far, but it's the February 2021 highs, the very, very first top on BTC. So there are a couple levels of note, and I won't actually draw. I'll keep the paths off for now, but the thing to watch is each time it makes a new high, be on the lookout for flushes. There's one area, there's two, there's three. And within that, the most likely path I see would be some kind of pullback, a second push, a deeper flush, and then away it goes. That would take us into the daily EMA. That would take us out through that liquidity. That would take us towards the pivot. It doesn't have to hit the pivot. It could front run it. But I'm looking at that type of path if we see a big shakeout. If we don't see that, then expect it to follow the 4-hour bands, right? We consolidated nicely on the 4 hour bands all the way to here. So if it comes down into this level and does that and pushes up and does that and pushes up, then it might break past the all-time high. So that would be like a green path. That path would be based on these 4 hour bands holding all the way, right? They wouldn't break. So keep an eye on those as well. The lower time frame trend is dictated by the 4 hour. The higher time frame, if it resets down to the daily, that's the next place to buy. In between that, you got your 50, 100, and 200, which I use. These are worth watching if we see deeper flushes. A 50 could be a place where it meets confluence, and maybe the 50 comes in line with this red liquidity level and it touches. Maybe the 100 comes up and is in confluence with the daily. If you get confluence in this, like say we get that deep flush and it hits the daily 12 EMA and also the 4 hour 100 EMA is around there at the same time, that's good confluence. If you see the 50 coming in line with this liquidity, or you see the 50 coming in line with this order block higher, any of those confluences you want to be watching for. There's no rush on this either. This is a 4 hour chart. You set your alerts, you wait. Shakeouts, they happen fast, but they still happen over a 4 hour time frame, right? Meaning, like, go back. The last time, this is what a lot of people are looking at, and I really encourage you not to do this, not to put too much weight into this. A lot of people are looking back at the previous all-time high for obvious reasons. Oh, well, what did Bitcoin do when we were last here? Well, it had this big shakeout, right? It almost went to 20, had a big shakeout, touched up towards 20, and then we, consolidated. It's not going to repeat the exact same pattern again. But when you get any type of shakeout, there's always time. Like, these are 4 hour candles. So anyone who wanted to buy, like, they bought this 100 and then it kept going. Oh no, it's going lower. It's not. You've loads of time. You can buy that. You can buy the double, 1, 2. Like, there's 1, 2, 3 pushes there. Then there was a retest. Then there was a consolidation. Then it started to rise up. Then there was a deep wick here. Then there was a retest over here. Then there was a consolidation, compressing, and then it broke out. Like, there's lots of areas you can get in to trade on. Remember, as a trader, you're just trying to get price to time it so that it's going to most likely go up. You're not trying to catch the bottom. You should already be holding spot. If you're trying to trade it, then trying to catch this bottom here, but you're trying to catch it here and here and here, and you get stopped out a bunch of times. Why not just wait for it to develop and see this really clear show of strength where it had volatility, retest, climbs back up, consolidates in a tight range below, and then moves. Your goal is just to get long somewhere in here or get long on the breakout of that and ride it up. And there's your trade, 19 up to 23. It doesn't have to be, I need to catch the absolute bottom of every dip. You don't. Right? So whatever way Bitcoin's going to go, there's trades you can take within that, bullish, based on whatever your system is telling you. So I would really encourage people not to be hyper focused on catching every dip. Like, here's a dip from a couple of weeks ago. There's a dip. People are like, oh, if I don't buy this dip, I'll say I missed it. No, it doesn't. It comes back once. It comes back twice. It comes back 3 times. It then consolidates. And then it goes. Bitcoin's too big to really just run away. And anytime it does run away, like even here, we haven't really had a retest of the big flush yet. If you go and look back to this other chart, right? We had our crazy wick candle on Wednesday of last week. The lows of that haven't really been retested yet. Right? It took down to there, retested, held. Looks like it's running away, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that 59K retested. That's a support level that wasn't retested yet. So I'm urging caution, not bearish in any form or fashion. Am I bearish here? But absolutely, when it feels like this is just going up, there's no pullback, it's running away from me, there's no pullback, there was a shake-up, but it just bounced and it's going stronger, and there's a bullish pennant, we're breaking out. If it feels like it's never, ever, ever pulling back, people are going to FOMO more and more and more, and then it will pull back. I'll be very surprised if we hit all-time highs here without having some kind of deep wick again, some nasty wick lower. We can. We probably will. Doesn't mean we definitely will, But that's why you hold spot. So if you're wrong about there being a dip and it just goes up, you make money on the upside. If you're right about there being a dip, you didn't FOMO in, you're waiting, and you get entries then. So, patience, name of the game. Have your plans, map them out, wait for them, set the alerts, and then when the time comes, don't fudge yourself out of the position. If it hits your level, if it's a valid setup, take the trade, set your stop loss. They can't all win, but if you've waited, you got your setup, you take your trade, that's all you can do.